Hey guys, this is Hetu and welcome back to etlqalabs. So guys, we are actually learning the loops, right? And we have already looked at for loop, and we have also looked at some of the interview questions based on for loop, right? In this session, we will try to cover another two loops, and then I think looping concept will be completed. Okay. So the second loop in the series is while loop, and then third one is do while loop, guys. Okay. We will try to discuss both of them, how does this two works, and then we will try to compare with for loop, how we can code in while loop and do while loop, etc. Right? So let's try to start then, guys. So first I want to, okay, I just want to write the syntax. How do we use while loop? Okay, and then how do we use do while loop as well? Okay. So for while loop, while means what, guys? Until while means until this condition is true, right? जब तक ये condition true नहीं है, false नहीं है, तब तक I have to do it. Which means until this particular condition is true, my looping will still continue. So the syntax for this is while. I have to write while, and then I have to actually put the condition here, right? So this should be condition. Okay. Now inside that I have to just say print here, right? Whatever I want to print, let's say. Okay. This will be print statement. So this is what the while loop. I mean, we will look at the examples as well, but just know that, right? So actually, this particular condition should be true. Then only this will execute. The moment this particular condition is false, it will come out of this loop, right? So this while loop will be terminated. Okay. So same thing with do while loop as well. Okay. Only difference between while and do while is do while will execute once at least for sure. Why? Because we are actually doing first, and then after that we are checking the condition, right? So how the syntax is, guys? Let's say do, and I have to say, okay, something I have to do something. Let's say print something. Okay, and then I have to check here after this bracket, right? So I will say while some condition, right? Condition should be true. So if it is true, then it will go inside. Otherwise, it will not go inside again. Okay, which means it will anyway print once, irrespective of the condition met or not met, right? So let's try to look at the example, right? How does it work? Okay, so let me do one thing. The scenario is, let's say, okay, print number 1 to 20. Okay, I want to just print number 1 to 20, guys. Okay, let's see. So if I have to use, okay, if I have to use, let's say, for loop, right? How do I use using the for loop, right? So in for loop, I have to actually write some syntax like this. So for, let's say, int I equal to, I'm starting from 1, and it should go up to 20, right? Including 20, because I have to print 1 to 20, and then I plus plus. So what is happening, actually I'm initializing value with I value with 1, and it will increment every time by 1 here, as you see, I plus plus, and it will go all the way up to 20. So it will be 1 2 3 and up to 20, right? So let me try to print it. What we get, dot out dot print, okay, and then I, let me give some space here. Okay, so what I want to do is, after, okay, so if what happens if I just run it, then it will actually not be able to distinguish the number from each other, right? So it will come very, so let's try to see what happens, guys. We'll come to know. Okay, so what happens, let's see. So 1 2 3 4 5 up to 20 it is, but it's very difficult to read it, so that's why I'm saying let me put one space here. So after each number there will be a space, right? Perfect, guys. See, 1 to 20 it is printing, right? The same thing, can we use while loop and do it, guys? Because the purpose of while loop and for loop is same, okay? It's just that different way of writing. That's why there are two different loops, right? Now let me try to comment it. Actually, I just don't want. Okay, let me do something like this. Okay, and then, okay, so this is block comment, right? I've commented entire thing into block now. There is no issue. Now, what I can do is, let me try to using while loop. I want to print the same thing using while loop. So for while loop, guys, what we have to do, we let's say this is the syntax, right? Let me try to copy this syntax first. Okay, this is the one second. This is the syntax. If I can copy it here, okay. So while condition, what is the condition, guys? So what I am going to do is I have to initialize this first in the while loop. So int I equal to 1. That's perfect, right? In for loop we are actually initializing it here, but in while loop I have to initialize it outside this particular while loop, right? So I equal to 1, and then this condition should be true. Until this condition is true, I have to print it, right? So what I have to say? I have to say I is less than or equal to 20, okay? Which means the same thing, right? In for loop also we are doing the same thing here, right? So I value should be less than or equal to 20. Until then you have to do this print. Let me just copy paste, guys. I don't want to type it again. Okay. See, now what will happen here is, and in for loop we are actually trying to increase it here, right? I plus plus, but here we are not doing anywhere. So what we have to do is we have to, after printing, we have to just increase the value as well. Okay. This is pretty much like for loop only, because we are actually initializing it here, checking the condition, and then increasing. The same thing here also, you see, initializing, checking the condition, and increasing the value of I. Let's try to see whether we are able to get it. Perfect, guys. See, this is actually printing the same thing. Okay. Now, this is the same thing. Like you can use for loop or while loop, I think, based on your convenient, right? But pretty much doing the same stuff, right? Now, um, what is do while loop, guys? First of all, okay. So do while loop. Let me try to copy the code base from here. So we type something like this, okay. All right. What exactly we do is here. Let me try to, okay, remove it. I don't want this. Actually, fine. So do something we have to do, okay. Let me print it. Do means print it. I just want to print it here. Maybe I, and here what I'm going to do is I int I equal to 0, okay. I'm starting from 0, and I'm checking, okay. What I'm checking, I should be greater than 0, okay. You see, guys, actually I am starting initializing the value y0, and then it, without checking anything, it will come inside and it will print here, right? Isn't it? Because it will print 1, and then after that only it will check whether I is greater than 0. The moment it find I is not greater than 0, it is exactly 0, then it will terminate the loop, right? But by then it has already printed I. So let's try to see how it works, right? Now what I'm going to do is, here I think I have to just, okay, 1 second. I, okay, let's say, okay, okay, something like this. I'm just want to decrease it, guys. Okay, let's see. I'll show you, explain you anyways. See, it is printing 0 because first time it is checking whether this is okay. First time it is not checking anything. It takes the value I equal to 0. It simply come inside and it print, okay, without checking anything. And then the value of I is actually decremented, which means 0 is decremented by -1, right? So 0 minus minus means 0, okay. And then it comes out and it checks whether I is greater than 0 or not. It is, it is not, right? So it is the, in fact it is -1. I value is -1. That's why it will terminate, and that's the first time it will actually come inside without checking anything. This is the one it is printing. So if you want to at least perform the operation at least once, right? Then we have to use a do while. But in practicality, or in the practical scenarios or in coding, we normally do not use do while loop, guys. Okay, this is just a loop that we should know theoretically, but I think we do not use it much. Okay. All right, guys. I think hope it was quick session, and I think I'll come up with the next things in Java, right? And hope you are enjoying the session. And until we meet next time, I think happy learning. God bless you. Bye.